I'll leave you now with Vishal Soni from Alteryx team. This will be the last presentation that we have here, and we'll have a short break. We'll come back for the business use case. Hi, Vishal. How are you?
Hi, very well. How are you?
It's good having you here. I'll leave it now to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And yeah, thank you so much for having me. To introduce myself, my name is Vishal. I've been with Alteryx for just over 4 years now, within different roles within the organization. So I'm super excited to walk you through what we at Alteryx really believe is the power of analytics. And as the title of this presentation really foreshadows, is the fact that we genuinely do believe analytics is for all. What's really starting to become more and more apparent is that we have a lot of data in this world. But really the key is being able to take that data and figure out what the different levels of insight that you can actually get as an organization to really speed up the decision making and make better and smarter decisions at the same time. The problem is that at the moment we do see a huge analytics gap. So there was a study done by New Vantage Partners that say that 92% of organizations, they make a lot of investments in analytics, but only 19% of them really feel that they're truly data-driven. And this widening gap of analytics really stops organizations from getting organizational progress. And the main factors that cause this is really a lack of analytic skills. The fact of the matter is a lot of people can't actually get the data that they need. And there's a lot of slow and error-prone manual processes, and there's just not enough people to actually go in and perform the analytics. And fundamentally, this gap boils down to one major thing: a lack of analytics capability within an organization. So if we get a bit more specific with this, there was a study done by the International Institute of Analytics, or the IIA. And what they've been doing over the last couple of years is taking different companies and starting to benchmark where they are on their analytic journey. So what they did as part of that is they went ahead and developed a 5-stage model, which really looks at the analytics maturity for any given company. So what this does is it tracks them through all the different phases of analytics within an organization. So someone who's super manual, not really using analytics, would be stage 1. And you see analytical nirvana at stage 5, where everything is actually going through an analytic process. They're fully data-driven, and everything is really powered by data. So it turns out that across hundreds of different companies, most organizations score pretty low when it comes to their analytic maturity. In fact, the average score, as you can see on this slide, is around 2.2, which sits them into the localized analytics and reporting space. What the IIA have also shown is that there's a really strong correlation between companies who progress through the 5 points and 5 stages, and the different ROI and growth and profits and shareholder value generation that these companies actually go in and get. So what this really means is that companies that invest in data and analytics are really the one who are winning in the market. So I'm sure you're all wondering, well, why is the score so low? Why is the average company only got a 2.2? Well, when we look at our experience with our 8,000 plus customers, we're seeing a really common trend, and we've understood that there's 3 main reasons behind why this score is what it is. So companies are really struggling when it comes to their complexities around number 1, the analytic tools and processes that they're using. Secondly, it's the actual people involved within the processes. And finally, it's the infrastructure that support them within their analytic journey. So if we talk about these different challenges, let's start off with the actual experience of data analytics in the first place. The average analysis, when it comes to creating something like a report or whatever it may be, uses something like half a dozen different data sources. This then gets used by between 4 and 7 distinct analytic tools, and you end up having 7 different outputs that are actually produced. Each one of these sources, tools, and outputs introduces new opportunities for errors and ultimately breaks in the process. It also takes a huge amount of manual effort to actually keep track of all these different data sources, all the different endpoints. And it becomes a situation where successfully having control and operationalizing all of these different analytic tools becomes a full-time job in itself and becomes super difficult to do. For example, we know for a fact, and I'm sure all of you listening to me now, are you really using spreadsheets for a lot of your different data tasks. And although I do love spreadsheets myself, a lot of the time the things that we're doing within them are super inefficient and can produce a lot of errors. IDC actually estimates that there's about 78 million advanced data workers, such as business analysts, who are wasting more than 7 hours a week repeating manual tasks within those different spreadsheets. And the reality is as well that having spreadsheet errors can actually do a huge level of damage. So there was a bank actually who lost billions all because that there was a Excel formula error. And so what this ends up doing is brings us into number 2, which is why most organizations really score low in that analytic maturity curve, which is that there's a growing divide and that there's a huge complexity around the different people involved in analytic processes. So most companies have people who can really go ahead and crack on with super advanced analytics. So people are data scientists. Most companies and most advanced analytic focused enterprises have a lot of knowledge workers who actually lack the capabilities beyond basic spreadsheet manipulations. So for example, if you've got someone who's a marketing professional or an accountant or someone within sales, and they know that they've got these questions that they're trying to answer, but typically when it gets to actually understanding the data and producing output from it, they tend to struggle a bit. The issue really here is that the data scientists and the people who can actually go in and build these different advanced models are typically siloed outside of the people whose work can really benefit from having that data-driven insight. So because of this silo, the data science teams and these advanced analytic teams act as a little bit of a bottleneck towards this progress. And because no one else in the business actually has the skills to analyze and interpret the data, you end up in a situation where these teams become overwhelmed with a huge amount of work to do, as well as the business as usual analytics tasks that they've got on hand as well. We've actually found that about a third of workers' time is lost because activities can't be completed within a reasonable time frame. As a result of this, business users are typically forced to take matters into their own hands to really get the data and the answers that they need, which is why we go back to having the over-reliance in spreadsheets in the first place. And finally, on the third reason behind that analytic maturity score is that complexity or lack of clarity, I should say, around the strategy of infrastructure that really supports the data and analytics. We find that a lot of organizations, the majority of them in fact, are really evaluating their go-forward cloud strategies. And these decisions really help dictate where the data actually lives and the architecture around their tech stack in the first place. There was a study done quite recently by Harvard Business Review saying that 81% of organizations say that the cloud is really, really important when it comes to the organization's future around strategy and growth. So what we've done so far is really touched on why organizations aren't performing as much analytics as they could be, and only scoring around a 2.2 out of 5 on the analytic maturity spectrum. And to recap those points, it's around complexities around the tools and processes that are in place when it comes to analytics, complexities around the people involved in those processes, as well as the data and infrastructure that supports them. Now, if we see what change looks like, and if we take a look at about how you can actually go in and increase that analytics score, what most organizations do is they operate analytic processes based off legacy tools. And this can include things like waterfall methodologies. They've got manual processes that really can't keep in place with the modern economy. An IDC survey again shows that most organizations are using more than 4 different analytic tools, and 90% of businesses still rely on those spreadsheets. In a similar vein, most organizations are also failing to take advantage of all the different data that they've got access to. And because of that, they're actually starting to use a lot of outdated technology in order to just adapt to the data and analytic tools that are available to them. And when businesses start to modernize their data infrastructure, going from legacy architectures to a more advanced and more up-to-date data stack, they're actually starting to see the advantages of having almost like an on-prem hybrid and cloud analytic deployment. So really being able to take advantage of the horsepower that they've got, looking at the different regulations and the different levels of comfort that they have with going to the cloud, and most organizations are actually going for that more hybrid approach. The thing is, though, there is actually a much better way and a new way for you to actually go in and have analytics span across your entire organization, one that actually surfaces insights to decision makers, and one where you've got an end-to-end analytics platform with all the tools and all the data. And that is what change looks like. What you're essentially doing is you're removing everyone from this error-prone, insecure, and slow way of doing things to something which is real-time, automated, and actually gives you accurate insights to fuel that data decision-making. And so what we've done here at Alteryx is we've actually wanted to really start to understand how the problems are today and what we actually want the future place and future state to look like, and actually make it a reality for companies to do right now. And the way that we've really gone about this is, I'm sure you can see it on my slide, and you're going to see it a lot in the Alteryx messaging, but it's all around an analytics for all approach. It's all around democratizing data, democratizing analytics, and what that really means is it means that we want to hit these 4 pillars. We think that data and analytics should be easy. You should be able to go from having raw data to being able to deliver insights in minutes and hours instead of days and weeks. The platform should be easy enough for anyone to use, and it should help you along your way to actually go in and crack on with actually solving business challenges. When it comes to everything, well, the platform needs to be able to touch the entire analytic lifestyle. So everything from data access all the way down to ETL, data enrichment, geospatial analytics, even machine learning, as well as business insights. It really needs to touch on every single part of the data process and pipeline. And the platform needs to be available everywhere as well. So for every type of data, from your on-prem databases to modern cloud data warehouses like Databricks or Snowflake, you need to be able to connect to them, even if it's other cloud applications or API-based calls or RPA bots. You shouldn't be limited. And finally, data and analytics should be made available for everyone. So it doesn't matter about your job role, your skill level, department, industry, or so on. The platform is really going to, well, the platform that succeeds will be one that will enable everyone to participate and really drive value in the analytic process. And so what we want to do is really meet people where they are in terms of their skill level. So if you've got someone who's a data engineer and they're spending all their time in SQL code, but they just need it to run faster, well, we want to cover them. Or if you've got someone else who doesn't really have a background in statistics or analytics, well, we want to help them too. And so what we really are suggesting is that analytics is for all. And the way we're going to achieve that is with these 4 different pillars. And I do really mean that analytics is for everyone. So true analytics transformation doesn't just happen within a team. It can't just happen within specific pockets of an organization. But unless everyone's in the journey together, the dream to become data-driven is just that. It is just a dream. And that's why with Alteryx, what we've designed is an approach that we can meet every single person within any of these different types of roles, wherever they are in terms of the analytic sophistication. So whether, for example, you're someone in HR and you want to identify use cases for employee churn, or you're trying to be looking at the P&L ledger as part of your finance team, or supply chain need inventory to be on hand at a particular time and place, Alteryx really offers you the analytic automation to make that all possible. And for those of you who know a little bit about Alteryx or who may have seen it before, you'll see that we've always kind of had this very, very open approach. So for example, just being able to drag and drop different tools in a super user-friendly, easy-to-use way is something that we've always had at the heart of our product. But it's not just for the code-free, but we also have code-friendly as well. So if you do want to go in and write your own Python or your own R code, you can absolutely do that as well. We've got a Jupyter Notebook built in, so you can absolutely go in and start installing in your own packages and executing them as well. The reason I bring that up is because from data engineer to data scientists, business leaders, as well as data analysts, we really do genuinely believe that analytics is for all, and we're making it a reality with Alteryx. The data that we looked at a couple of slides ago with IDC makes it clear that organizations need to do this to generate more return on investment from analytics, as well as the organizations who are under investing in these different areas as well. Now, this analytics for all strategy is one of the keys of unlocking the data as well as your organization's potential through data. So what we'll do is let's take a look at some real life use cases. So as some of you may have noticed, I do have a background for McLaren F1 car. I'm also wearing an Alteryx and McLaren t-shirt. And the reason why I did that is because McLaren are actually a customer of Alteryx. We also have a sponsorship together, so they are as well using the Alteryx name on their cars, as well as actually within their teams as well. So if we focus on McLaren, for those of you who are F1 fans, I'm a huge one myself. F1 teams, as I'm sure you will know, are really subject to super strict budget caps. And so what McLaren realized is they need to start to consolidate all the different data sources that they have to start to maintain that competitive edge through the new racing season. The team at McLaren also wanted to maintain a competitive edge through having a culture of scalable, data-driven and decision-making in order to process and correlate all the thousands of telemetry points that they have, both on race day as well as when testing. So with Alteryx, the team can now actually bring together millions of these different data points in any format, combining production, race day, and testing data to really start optimizing race car efficiency as well as performance. And so the stat on the screen in the middle there really just shows that they were able to do 30 million race simulations and analyze them all directly within Alteryx. And they're not alone. So we do have a large customer base, both within region as well as worldwide. So we do have about 8,200 plus customers from a range of different verticals. So as you can see here, everything from media and entertainment to telecom, manufacturing, hospitality, technology, retail. I'm not going to go through them all name by name, but we are also happy to say we do have around 46% of the global 2,000 companies in the world as well. And so what's great is that we're really excited to work with our customers to really get them past that 2.2 number of their analytic maturity. We've been doing a lot of investments in terms of our own product, and we're really excited to partner with you all on this journey. So with that, I would like to say thank you so much for allowing me to take the time to really introduce Alteryx to you all today. Please do reach out if there's anything that I can help with or that anyone from the Alteryx team can help with. We'd be super excited to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Vishal. Really appreciate it. With that, we have concluded the first part of our sessions today. Now we will have like a quick break for 15 minutes and then we reconvene, inshallah, for the business cases that we have from Gourmet, Mondia, and Mantrak. Thank you very much. Thank you.